Welcome to the Lead Pedal Podcast with your host, Bruce Outridge, where he talks all things trucking. Now let's get rolling.
Hey everybody, how we doing today? Welcome to another edition of the Lead Pedal Podcast. I'm your host, Bruce Edwards. This is episode number 1133, and today we have a Lead Pedal Q&A. A listener wants to know what questions they should ask a recruiter. Well, we'll tell you right after this. Hey, you know what? Before we get into that, let's talk about Rims Transport. That's right, Rims Transport, flatbed-based company out of Hamilton, Ontario. They run about 500 to 700 mile radius from there, hauling all flatbed products from steel down to anything, basically, that'll fit on a flatbed. That's what they put on there. They're an owner-operator only company, paying percentage, and they are looking for you. They've got a good work culture there. Owner-operators are successful. They provide the trailer, you provide the truck, and they'll coach you, make sure you're doing well. So they take new owner-operators, they take old owner-operators, they take any owner-operators in between. Got good equipment, so come and see them. They're looking for you. You can find out more about them at rimstransport.com, and make sure you check out their bulk tanker and end dump divisions as well. All right, let's get on with this. Let's find out what's going on here with this question here. So this came in from a listener and said some questions. I need some questions to ask a recruiter as a newbie. What should I be looking out for in a company? I just started my trucking career. I drove for a sketchy small company for a few days and quit. There you go. Do not start that way. Fill out an application on another company and have a bunch of recruiters calling me. What are some things that need to be asked, and what are some reasons or concern for dealing with a company? Well, here we go. So that's a loaded question, but a good question for sure. Some of the things you may want to ask a recruiter. Remember, when you are interviewing them as much as they are interviewing you. So you want to make sure that you are covering off questions. Most new people, the first thing they ask about is the money, and I can tell you that it's the wrong thing to ask. All right. If you are going to ask a question, especially if you are new, if you're over two to 5 years in your career, this is not the question you necessarily need to ask. But if you are brand new and getting into this industry, the finishing program and training program is much more important than the money. You will make money down the road. Don't worry about the money. But as long as you have a good training program, as you see by this listener, they already started by the company and then quit. That's because that company did not have a good training program. You want a good foundation. You want a good start. If you got good training from a school, then continue that training with a company. So you want to look for a good company that's got a good training program. So the first thing I would ask them is, what is your, we call it a finishing program. What is your finishing program look like? That is one thing that's really important. Will I be sent on the road right away by myself? Probably not nowadays. In the old days, yes, but nowadays, no, unless you're an experienced driver. Ask about things like home time. Ask about will you be slip seating equipment, or will you have a dedicated unit? Ask what type of freight. You should already know some of this. You should actually do your homework before you go into an interview, so you should actually know what the company hauls, that kind of stuff. So you shouldn't be asking questions like, what kind of freight do you haul? But you could be asking, what type of equipment would I be using? Is there extra training on the equipment if I need it? What is the policies like for incidents, stuff like that? What's the home time look like? Is there a mentor program? How do the wages work for new drivers as opposed to experienced drivers? There's a lot of companies where you start lower as a new driver and then you get up there. Ask those kind of questions. Ask, how do you move up in the industry? What kind of other opportunities are there? Who do I talk to if I have an issue? What's the support system like if I'm crossing the border? Do I have to, if something's wrong at customs at 2 a.m, who do I call? Or am I stuck there on my own? All these are questions you need to ask. They'll probably tell you a lot of this up front, but a good company will have all of this laid out. A bad company won't have any of it laid out. So you want to make sure you get that. This other driver who said that they've been driving for 3 years answered in on this as well, and said to ask about things like the downtime and the slip seating and that kind of stuff. Most of them are going to give you fuel cards, but asking about stuff like do I get paid if I drop a trailer? Do I get paid if I pick up a trailer? Do I get paid, or am I paid hourly? Like, it'll depend on how far you go and where you're going. Ask all the different ways. There's companies here that I know that are hauling bulk tanker and have about 10 different ways to pay a driver per trip based on what they're doing on that trip. So it's not just black and white, but don't worry about it. Be committed for 2 years. You tell them you want to give a 2-year commitment. Ask if they have an apprentice program. There are apprentice programs. It's voluntary, but a lot of companies are on it, where you can actually get cash back and you get a certificate showing your experience, which is going to help you down the road. So get into a good company. Ask about the training. That's what you want first. And then once you get comfortable on the road, you will, if you're a good driver, you will have lots of opportunities to make money down the road. You just want to get that good foundation. That's the secret to it. And another company that has a good foundation is CAT Transport. If I haven't told you about them before, that's right, CAT Transport. They are a Quebec-based company, but they have terminals all across North America. And they're looking for good drivers that want to be safe, want to have good benefit packages, want to deal with good equipment. They're a leader in the green technology as far as trucks that they use. They're terminals all across North America, so you'll have safe places to stay, and they're looking for you. You don't have to speak French, but if you speak any language, English, Spanish, Quebec, French, then they're going to want to talk with you, because a lot of their freight goes in those areas. You'll be a real benefit. So check out cat.ca. You can find them on socials as well. And while you're talking about them, follow us on our socials too. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, LinkedIn, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcast platforms. All right, hopefully that was helpful to you. Hopefully that gave you a little bit of information and helped you be successful as a new driver in the interview. Good luck with your interview. Hey, check out a couple of the other Lead Pedal Q&As, because we talked about how to dress and all of that in other episodes. All right, my friends, talk to you later. Bye for now.
This has been another episode of the Lead Pedal Podcast. For more information or to subscribe to the podcast, visit theleadpedalpodcast.com, and be sure to follow the podcast on Facebook and Twitter.